Hello and welcome back to another screen recorded video essay thing. I don't really know what I'm calling these yet. There was so much love on the one that I did in July and it was so beautiful to see. And so I'm very excited to be doing another one right now. I apologize for it taking me so long. I had a very busy August and September, but I'm really excited to be back. So if there's anything you are interested in seeing a video on or you want to see more of, please let me know. Today's topic is the idea of the cool girl, and I've just been ruminating on this for the past few months. I think I've been noticing, and I don't know if it's me as I get older or just that this influx of content has been insane, but especially on like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, content geared towards younger people, attempting to help them achieve some level of like coolness or self-identity. In the midst of all that, I think I see a lot of consumption and putting these idols of people that we see in culture that we deem as cool on a pedestal. And there's kind of this constant conversation of like, who's on that pedestal? Who are we taking off? And with the influx of content, it feels like that cycle is just moving like faster and faster. And maybe it's always been that way and I just didn't notice because I was in the middle of it. But I think at the center of it all is also this feeling when you stop trying to be something, you become it a lot easier. But I think that is a lot easier said than done. You can't just stop trying if you're not examining the areas of your life in which you are kind of giving into something that is not, that you might be unconscious of. So let's get into it. And today I'm going to be using my trusty Google Doc, which I always use. I just love the Times New Roman nature of it. But I have been using a new platform called Sublime. Sublime is actually the sponsor of today's video. I have been using Sublime as my digital garden. Images, concepts, ideas, things from all over the internet. I'm able to organize them into collections. And so I have a variety and they all are different ideas of things I might want to use for a YouTube video, for a film, for a play. Like not only is Sublime a home for all these things, it also has incredible search functions. To give you an example, there's a book that I read in college that I really wanted to reference called We Were Feminists Once. I read this book years ago and I knew that there were good quotes in it. I could spend a bunch of time online trying to find the quote, but basically I looked it up on Sublime and I was given the exact quotes I needed and such a variety. And then it also brought me and reminded me of Gia Tolentino's Trick Mirror that I wanted to incorporate into this. It's just very focused. And some of these are from smaller writers on Substack or blogs elsewhere that I would have never stumbled upon. So it's really like a find similar button / like a stumble upon for this era. The space is very playful and fun and just excites that early internet feel, while at the same time really challenging you to minimize the amount of content you're focusing on. I have truly loved incorporating Sublime into my process. You can try it out for free or sign up for premium today. Use the link below and use my code Mickey for 20% off. Okay, part one. Who is Cool Girl? We can't really address that without watching what is the most iconic.
Cool girl. Men always use that, don't they? As their defining compliment. She's a cool girl. Cool girl is hot. Cool girl is game. Cool girl is fun. Cool girl never gets angry at her man. She only smiles. When I met Nick Dunn, I knew he wanted cool girl. And for him, I'll admit, I was willing to try. I drank canned beer watching Adam Sandler movies. I ate cold pizza and remained a size 2.
What that monologue does really touch on, which we'll get into, is that cool girl is in many ways without definition. And also as a disclaimer in that same vein is I don't think that this only applies to women. I think it's really anyone that you individually put on a pedestal. Female celebrities and the ways we talk about them are great examples because they just uncover a lot of bias. What we desire when we see or we talk about someone who we think is cool girl is we see a sense of identity and a self-image that is very clear and is clear through multiple channels. We find that the person's personality matches their art, matches their face, matches their body, matches their apartment. Everything is this cohesive brand in a way. We want that. Like we intuitively want that. We want to feel like we can define ourselves. At its core, she's really cohesive and packaged. I think that's why everybody's obsessed with those color videos, like which am I in autumn? It's this thing that everything worked together perfectly that maybe my life would finally make sense. The tricky thing about this is that when you are living a life that aligns with your values and when different areas of your life are kind of fitting together, I think it does indicate that you do have a strong sense of identity and a sense of self, and that things in your life are working. And that's why we desire everything to kind of look that way from the outside, or why we kind of sense when someone has things together and they have this intangible quality of coolness in a way. But at the same time, I think that that is being used to then sell us shit. I worry that by not identifying these red flags and what you're being sold at all times, you're actually losing more and more sense of self, giving yourself over to an algorithm or to a sort of blankness that isn't what you're after. It's okay to be after a sense of self and an identity. I think that is human and natural. However, you need to be really careful and challenge yourself in what that looks like. And a lot of this is the idea that it's like, oh, if it's an outside in approach. Like if I have the perfect house, if I have the perfect outfit, I will then feel like myself and I will know who I am. And I do think that those things can help, like they can assist and nudge you along a journey, but a deep sense of self and identity is like really only achieved through digging into the parts of you that don't make sense. I really liked this TikTok.
I am just so over cool girl rhetoric, and I'm not saying it from a place of being above it. I'm literally saying it from a place of being totally inside of it. I am so over selling the cool girl. I'm so over being the cool girl. I'm so over like, this is what you need to either think, have, live, act. Now I feel like capitalism isn't even just selling products. It's like, I'm trying to sell you something so you follow me, and thus I can like generate income from.
Let's get into part 2 of this video, which will be how to spot cool girl / like cool girl red flags. A lot of what inspired me to talk about this was that I feel like people have a lot of blind spots when it comes to what they are being sold. And not only that, but also just the ways in which we talk about women and their bodies and who they are. Particularly in America right now, politically, things are pretty crazy. I'm already seeing things that are usually more inclusive become more and more exclusive, or maybe just neutral or bland. This idea of coolness is so deeply deceptive, and I think that's why we're obsessed with like pre and post plastic surgery images or videos. And we want to be able to sort of spot the deception, but we want to spot the deception because we want to believe that at some point someone was being truthful. If something's being pushed on you, it's most likely deception. Oh, another thing here is that while some of the things about her stay the same, she's always changing like just a little bit too. So just like you can't spot it, or she like changes in a cool enough way that you're like, oh, well, maybe that's okay. Number 1, and I think what's most obvious, is that cool girl is usually famous. These aren't always true, but she's usually famous, and we use female celebrities as like our framework and our context of how we are talking and thinking about women. And we don't really speak about male straight celebrities the same way. I think this Gia Tolentino quote is awesome. Analyzing sexism through female celebrities is catnip pedagogical method. It takes a beloved cultural pastime, calculating the exact worth of a woman, and lends it progressive political import. I also wanted to start with this one because I think that female paparazzi photos have probably been the longest iteration of this. I always think of that article when Gwyneth Paltrow talks about how she used to go to a bar and like she could just be at the bar. People knew she was famous, but no one was ever going to take a photo of her. The paparazzi weren't everywhere, and there weren't cell phones. So hence, I actually think that like as much as you could get into it still existed then, I kind of think like it's with the cell phone or the paparazzi pics where like the coolness kind of dies because it's inherently becomes a performance. We are obsessed with these performances and we want to use them as an example of how we should match our life. And I think I have like worked in and around fashion and have seen a lot of the like behind the scenes of sometimes what looks like a more effortless outfit. Or if you follow celebrity stylists, Danielle Goldberg, who is an amazing stylist and does incredible work, like this is not to diss the work at all, but she will post, you know, Zoe Kravitz leaving a hotel in downtown New York. Let's look up this image. This one is like a recent one that people have been adding to Pinterest boards, right? As much as, yeah, this could have been like thrown together, let's take into account that she is leaving a hotel. She knows she's going to be photographed. Her stylist posted this image, which means that they worked on this outfit. this outfit that is quite simply a vintage tee, a pair of, I mean, they're probably designer, but like Adidas looking shorts and heels. Like, it's not that innovative. Like, and I don't think it needs to be. I think that's actually what Danielle Goldberg is really, really good at. So she should keep doing that. But you are comparing yourself to this image and being like, oh, I'm gonna recreate Zoe's outfit. You're not gonna recreate Zoe's outfit. Like, that is like millions of dollars you are looking at right now. She wants you to want to recreate it. Like, that is the trick. And the more relatable she seems while being elusive, the more cool she seems, because she's almost like you, but she's not. Probably talk about this later, but this is kind of just like the quiet luxury movement. And then when I think I talk about things getting a little bit more, I've always been kind of a minimalist dresser, but things getting more conservative or plain in day to day, I do think is a reflection of our politics as a whole right now. I think the best thing to do to kind of, if you want to be consuming content that maybe creates a more full sense of self and identity, it's kind of doing the opposite of any of these. So I would say, like, instead of pulling images of famous women that you want to base your outfits off of, specifically pull images of not famous women. An artist you saw walking around one day that you like kind of know, but she's not famous. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe your favorite writer at a niche publication. What did she wear to her brother's wedding? How can you get more specific about what you're looking for? Okay, the next one is kind of fun. Cool girl is a feminist. So pulling it up because it's easier. In terms of feminism, we have like first wave, which is like the women's right to vote. Second wave is legal and social equality, reproductive rights, and challenge gender roles. The idea that women couldn't open a like bank account or have a credit card without a husband. Third wave, 1990s to 2010s, diversity, intersectionality, workplace harassment, and gender identity. And then ongoing fourth wave. This is kind of tricky. Like, I feel like when I was learning about this, we didn't really know if we were in the third wave or the fourth wave yet. However, along with third wave and fourth wave, there was kind of the birth of choice feminism. In the past, feminism, or just political movements in general, are about individuals sacrificing themselves for a collective and for a collective goal. In our current day and age, there's a lot of feminism that every woman's choice is valid and every woman is valid to make any choice she wants, even if that choice hurts other women. It has been very much reflected in the packaging and consumption of feminism. This was the book that I was talking about earlier when I was talking about Sublime, but that Andy Zeisler, We Were Feminists Once, From Riot Girl to Cover Girl, the buying and selling of a political movement. The problem has always been that feminism is not fun. It's not supposed to be fun. It's complex and hard, and it pisses people off. It's serious because it is about people demanding that their humanity be recognized as valuable. Just because a celebrity has expressed their political affiliations, real politics comes from taking action. There are many things that they are not experts on, and I don't want them to pretend to be experts on. But I think that to question the political motives and affiliations of the people that you are engaging with, because when you give them your attention, you are giving them your money. I don't think that we need to be demanding political opinions from everybody, but I do think that saying that someone is aligned with you just because they said one thing one time doesn't mean anything. Like, what are your political beliefs? What are your values? Like, figure those out. Don't expect a celebrity to lead you to those deep decisions. Something that I do see a lot of times with Cool Girl, she doesn't create problems. She doesn't argue. She's kind of this blank canvas that anybody can use, and she can become anything to anybody. But if someone does have like deep-rooted values, that's not possible. Next one, Cool Girl is fashionable. I talked about a lot of ways in which we're like trying to make our outside match our insides, whether it's beauty, getting work done, whatever. I do think what I see the most of, and what is the most overwhelming, and I literally separated this out just because of it, is that people really think their clothing means so much about who they are.
Why are Zoe Kravitz, Kendall Jenner, and Lily Rose Depp seen as style influences when their styles are kind of basic and low effort? They all blur the lines between being fashionable and fashion indifferent. They use what are known as sartorial shrugs, in which the display of rehearsed carelessness makes no effort become a status claim. I'm not saying that Zoe Kravitz, Kendall Jenner, and Lily Rose Depp have fashion influence because they don't try, but their status, financial and cultural, in pop culture makes the decisions of what they wear, or more importantly, what they don't wear, to be a curated response to the type of style that is expected of people with their fashion access. Values of comfort and practicality are seen as drivers in the rise of relaxed dress. Casual has become associated with ideals of democracy and freedom. Bringing this back to the boring rich girls. Understatement is about accentuating the biological capability that is practically impossible to copy.
I think it's such a good video. I think that this statement is particularly in regards to quiet luxury, and that is a sort of ease of life through financial freedom, through physical safety, through physical ability, etc., etc. I also have a couple other quotes. The business of marketing and selling to women literally depends on creating and then addressing female insecurity. And part of the revelatory potential of women's lib involves rejecting that marketplace sweet-talking premise about life-changing face creams and shampoos, not to mention the entire premise of women as decorative objects. Go off, Andy. Sorry, more Andy quotes because they're just good. By reinscribing feminism as something you dress in or consume rather than something you do, accomplishes nothing, not for you as an individual and not for how women as a whole are viewed, valued, and validated in this culture. Cool girl is fashionable. A lot of these kind of overlap with each other, but I do think that they're important to point out. The next one is that cool girl is white. This is just so apparent when you look at the types of people that we idolize. I would love to go more into this, but I think that it would require, I would like to research more on this before I present a whole argument around it. However, I just think that a great thing to point out, we see whiteness as a sort of neutrality, especially in culture and in media. We see it as, that is its power, is that it's not, our perception is that it, quote, isn't asserting itself. There's no identity. There's no history or baggage associated with it. It's the premise of blankness and the presumption of the universal. And that isn't true. There's so much dark history around whiteness on this planet. However, I think it's important to kind of take that into account. Along with cool girl is white, this one is really rampant lately. She is thin. What all of these get to is this blank canvas of a person. But in the same way that whiteness is that sort of presumption of the universal, I think we do the same thing. Also just want to flag that both, everything I'm saying is coming from a small white woman. I just want to say that that's acknowledging that right now, but that's why it's important I speak about it. The skinny's really in right now. She's really in, and it's a bit scary. Yeah, I do think that when I think about politics and I think about whiteness as being these sort of blank canvases, it makes me think very differently about thinness. It's this standard to achieve, but it's if you achieve it, you're actually just without. It's in some ways, and I'm not saying this to body shame anybody, I'm not saying that if you are thin that is the reality, but the desire for it and the focus and importance and placement on it is telling yourself that you need to be less, which is quite fascinating. The images that are coming into your head throughout this video, I also think it's important to just examine how much of that outfit or that apartment or that job looks good on her because she's thin. I see this comment a lot, but I do always think that it is very smart. This is the comment that somebody left. Being skinny is one of the best accessories you can have. I have one last one, and I think that it is new. I think that this is the more fresh 2025 one, and that is that cool girl is natural. In the same way that I discussed before, we are obsessed with seeing someone before and after plastic surgery because their truthful appearance and if they were actually beautiful before, and so we can trust them. It is rampant that cool girl appear natural. And I also think it's crazy how much people are lying about their work done right now. I'm not saying that they need to be honest about it, but I think that it's crazy how much we are believing them. This video is, I think, a great example of this.
Bella Hadid thinks you're stupid, and she has not gotten the memo from the Kardashians that we're being honest about our plastic surgeries now. Watch this.
I think I've gotten a facelift or gotten that cat eye thing or whatever it's called. I'm gonna teach you an easier way. It's 60 seconds.
That cat eye thing or whatever it's called. Girl, you know exactly what it's called. And that's okay. You don't have to lie. Just because you don't look like that naturally doesn't mean you don't look great. She's undeniably gorgeous, but to maintain this lie for so long that it's natural except for the nose is offensive. It must be so weird and confusing to have gotten work done at such a young age and now see that it's trendy to have your natural face.
And I'm saying all this only to highlight, this isn't a video about whether or not Bella Hadid had plastic surgery or not. I think debating that is kind of the problem. I think it would do you well to just assume that she did. People really want things to be natural. And so if you are seeing something also that is feeling very, goopy and wellnessy and etc., alarm bells should go off. All of this stuff is not to like shame a celebrity or to shame an influencer or anything like that. Everybody is trying to sell you something, and everybody is trying to sell themselves because they are now a brand and a product. Be wary, especially if you are a young girl. Please be wary. Those are all my red flags for now. But on a more positive note, part 3 of this video is really, who are you? I found this using Sublime. I actually had this Anne Bogart quote come up. I'm such a theater girl pulling up an Anne Bogart quote. You cannot create results. You can only create conditions in which something might happen. I love this when I'm thinking about the act and like kind of the art of becoming yourself, growing into yourself and learning who you are. If you have a specific destination in mind, you're not really going to be successful. Like, you're never going to be the picture of Lily Rose Depp on the street. Your job as a human and in your own development, whatever age you are, is to create new conditions in which a new personhood might happen. It's not to force a certain ideal upon yourself. And if you are truly open to becoming the best version of yourself, then I think that you'll be surprised by who that might be. I added in this, I've been loving Audrey Hobart's album, and I really love the song Phoebe. She sees herself as Phoebe and just kind of being weird, and that her weirdness is what makes it all work. Because why else would you want me? I think I've got a fucked up face. And that thought used to haunt me till I fell in its sweet embrace. Now I don't sweat the acne. It's a bitch, but it goes away. And who cares if I'm pretty? I feel like I'm Phoebe. I feel like it totally works. Yeah, I'd absolutely play the song, except I can't for copyright reasons. And I'd very much suggest listening to it. I think it captures that like childlike sense of play. That even if you want to change something about yourself, you really won't until you accept the thing that you hate. Suggestions? How to grow your sense of identity, especially when all of the stuff we've talked about is coming at you. Fairly basic stuff. It's stuff that you've probably heard 1,000 times before. But I really think like read, journal, inner child work. Like, where do you feel not good enough? Identify your values. But when you get into it, values can be kind of more abstract than maybe you think. More playful and fun. And like, I love doing things with my hands. And I like trees. And the more individual things like that are, the more individual, unique you become. And you probably already are, but I think defining them for you will make you feel more confident. Especially if you're a woman, I think this specifically applies to outfit inspiration, but I think you can use this framework for anything. You will likely be shown more images. Like, life is similar, all algorithms are similar to the way that like a Pinterest thing would work. So if I feed it an image of a white woman in kind of a mid outfit, I will get more of that. And I think about your life like that and what you're placing attention and value on, as well as what the algorithms are giving you. How can you diversify those sources and the types of people that those sources are coming from, the types of bodies that those things are coming from? You will grow exponentially faster if you are receiving information from people that are different from you. And ultimately, I think it's really okay to allow yourself to sit in the messiness and like muck of yourself and your contradictions. And I think it's okay to, I don't want you to like overdo it, but to romanticize that a little bit if it allows you a bit more freedom to let go, and to not look for quick fixes or dopamine hits. The longer you sit with it, the more likely you are to form something out of it. And I don't think that that's going to be as tangible as you think it's going to be. I like this video.
Some of you are so hot, like, truly. But the only thing that's in your brain is gua sha, lymphatic drainage, macro, matcha. Like, yes, you are beautiful, but the pursuit of that beauty has become so all-consuming that you are an empty husk who is, I'd imagine, very difficult to love.
One of my final suggestions as well is to, I don't even think we need to watch this video. I just think the title of it, young people are obsessed with gaining cultural identity from things meant for consumption. You do not need to be like the things you are consuming or the people you are consuming, and do so with joy. But when you are looking for things to base yourself personhood on, those things might need to be books. like they just might need to have a bit more heft. Okay, I had a lot of fun doing this one. This is the end of this video. I will link the Google Doc in the notes, and I will also link the Sublime collection as well as the Sublime code. Please try out Sublime. It's really, really fun and amazing, and I think also fits really well into this idea of like, start a collection for your values, start a collection for your fashion sense that might be based more on like objects, you know what I mean? Like, you can get more creative with it, and I think that's really the beautiful part. I had a lot of fun with this one. This one's like a very personal topic. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me, and that's okay. I think that's the end. Thank you for listening for this long. It was a lot, and I'm gonna try to post more. So let me know if you have any suggestions. Have a lovely day.